We are here at the Podium Bar outside the London Stadium on the eve of the Premier League season. The Bournemouth game is about to kick off. We do this every year. It's our season predictions. It's come around quick, boys, isn't it? It seems only yesterday was in Prague.
Yeah,
Too bloody quick.
It's flown by. But I'm looking forward to it, mate. I know that we haven't done great this summer, but I'm excited for the season.
Just excited to see what it is we're going to see on the pitch, because it's just so much unknowns going into the season. So that's what I'm looking forward to, if anything.
Yeah, we'll be going through like the signing of the season.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that in a minute. Who we predict's going to be the player of the season, young player of the season, where we're going to finish, cut runs, all that stuff. So let's kick it off then.
Do you know what? We might as well get signing of the season out of the way.
Alvarez.
It's the elephant in the room, right? And all we can do, because as it stands right now, we haven't actually signed anyone. We're close to, it seems, Alvarez. Maguire might happen. James Ward-Prowse is close. So we kind of have to go hypothetically here of who we're close to signing, we think we'll sign. And that's a prediction in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As it actually stands right at the moment, my sign of the season is going to be my new deal with Sky, because I've got a great deal. Yeah. So I'm going to take that. But no, look.
It's exciting. I remember when you had Husilos as your sign. Remember when you had Husilos as your signing?
Look, Alvarez looks close. As we're filming right now, Maguire, James Ward-Prowse look close. So it's hard to predict the sign of the season. Maybe
out of them though, like the three names you mentioned, which one would you, if we signed all three of them, would you say yeah?
Out of them, I mean, Alvarez excites me because I think he's the type of player we need. You know,
that dog in the midfield.
Yeah, he don't mind putting a tackle in, which worries me in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the highlights of him, and he likes to tackle. You know,
he booking.
Yeah, he can get forward. He can break up play. Look, I'm not going to say he's as good as what Declan Rice was, but I think he's a great replacement for Declan Rice because he does a similar job. James Ward-Prowse, look, we know what he's about. We know what he does. We've seen him do it for Southampton season after season. Great on set pieces. Harry Maguire, I know there's a lot of people that don't want him at the football club, but I think that when you look at Harry Maguire, I look at him as the England international. And I look at him as the player that's never really let England down. He was in the team of the World Cup in the last World Cup. And I think that when you take him out of that top four, because United, I know they haven't won the league for a long time, but they're the biggest club in world football. They're massive. And if you take him out of that and bring him to a club like us, I think it suits him. And I think he'll do well. How we're going to set up with him, I think we'll revert to a back three, which...
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
You know, that's down to the manager and that. But I think, look, when I look at new signings, I always look at them as, are they going to improve our squad? And most importantly, are they going to improve our first team? And all three of them would. So I don't know who else we've got coming in, but if them three get done, I think it's an improvement, and I think it'll improve our first team.
So who would be the signing? Who would be out of them three? Would be your signing?
Probably Alvarez.
Just hear me out here, right? Because I know you're not a Maguire fan and that, but I think that dual signing of Ward-Prowse, although I don't think there's any longevity in it, you know, in terms of like going forward 3-4 years. But I'm looking at the squad now. Obviously, we've sold Scamacca, and I said a few weeks ago that Scamacca, I think, would really benefit from someone like Ward-Prowse because of his set piece deliveries and all that. Now, put Harry Maguire on the end of them set pieces. I think that's going to be, sort of that Dawson effect, you know what I mean? But I think even more, because he's really dangerous from set pieces, Maguire. So I'm going to say Ward-Prowse.
Do you know what? Oh, Ward-Prowse. Oh, fucking hell. You had me thinking you was going Maguire.
He's going down the Maguire.
No. I think the two of them together, I think Maguire would bring the best out of Ward-Prowse, but I think Ward-Prowse would be, I think he would be a special player for us. Yeah. I really do like Ward-Prowse.
Yeah. The thing is with Maguire, I don't doubt that he will be a good player under David Moyes, right? And he will fit us under David Moyes. My big reservation about him has been, after David Moyes, because I'm hoping that once David Moyes had his time, whether it's after this season, that we then go and look and get a more progressive manager. Do you know what I mean? That can play better football. I want to see us play better football in the future. And then that manager is going to inherit Harry Maguire, who's going to be in a lot of money. Maybe not as much money as on at Man United, but still a lot of money.
I get what you're saying,
but to shift him.
What you got to remember is that any manager coming in here would inherit a top centre back, and I think that if Moyes did go, whoever come in would look at that and think, I've got Aguerd, Zuma and Maguire. They're 3 top centre-backs.
He seems to struggle playing higher up the pitch, higher line.
I feel we play that high though.
What's that?
We don't play that.
No,
high.
I'm talking. This is what I'm saying. If we do want to have a manager after Moyes that plays more progressive attacking football, he's not going to be the best fit. But I think he's a great fit for David Moyes. Yeah, and like you said, that set piece, power that's going to be brilliant. But Alvarez for me, because that midfield is so critical, and having someone like you said with that steel and grit in midfield, the battling.
I love players like Alvarez.
So Alvarez will press.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Well, let's look at. I mean, before we get to new players, what about most improved player? The player maybe last season that didn't really have the best of seasons, but we can foresee them stepping up next season.
I'll tell you who we need it to be. I'm going to tell you who we need it to be. Danny Ings. Because we're very, very light with Scamacca leaving. We're very, very light in the striker department. Obviously, Moyes likes Antonio, but Antonio for me, he seems to turn it on and turn it off like too inconsistently for me. You know what I mean? And I know he's always been his go-to, but Danny Ings, look, I know I was saying last season's past his best and all that, but he's looked a little bit sharper in pre-season. I must say that he's come back. It must be that he lost his hair and all that. He's going
quicker because he's got no hair.
But I think that I want it to be this. I'm going to go for it because we need it to be. Unless we sign someone significant in the next few weeks, we need it to be Danny Ings. And Danny Ings is a goal scorer.
Do you think it will be though?
No.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Bowen.
Bowen.
Do you know what? Because he did start last season quite slow, and he's really picked up towards the end. In pre-season, apart from the last game, he's looked sharp.
I think Bowen will be a talisman this year. I think he'll be back to his best season.
I think a player that I'm really looking forward to seeing getting more opportunities next season is Emerson. And I think that now that Creswell looks like he's going to leave the football club, I think he's going to be our main left back. I think he showed signs towards the end of the season of what a player he can be and the player that we wanted when we signed. And he was man of the match in the final for me. And I think that giving him consistent run, I think he will, because he didn't start off great here at West Ham. He didn't get a lot of opportunities in the first team, but I think he's going to be our most improved player, and I think he's going to be a really important player for us next season.
It's a tough one because there's quite a few options. Cornet stands out to me, but
he has to play one game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he only has to stay on side for one game, and he's improved. But I'm going to go with Pablo Fornals, and it's kind of.
He completely I forget about him.
I want to see him more central.
This is the thing. It's kind of based on the idea that I'm hoping Moyes does play more central. I know he's done it in a couple of games in pre-season. So if he plays in either that number 10 role or the number 8 role, I think he will excel. I think he's absolutely wasted on the wing. And I'm hoping, based on kind of what I've seen in pre-season, Moyes will, put him there more often. And if he does, we're going to see a much better and a much more improved Fornals.
The thing is, with the players that we've lost, well, one player, he was a mainstay in that team. He was never gonna be dropped from the team. If he's fit, he plays. Yeah, Declan is he was our number one, our captain. So there's a place there now, And I know that you've got all of these players coming in. Potentially Ward-Prowse, potentially Alvarez, potentially McTominay, and all of that sort of stuff. But there's a position there to be won. There's a position there to be won, and you got Paqueta as well. Don't forget. Well, at the time of filming, you never know. But you got him to slot in somewhere. It depends on that sort. But there is definitely a position there to be won for someone. And I don't think Souček's place will be safe next season either.
Well, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. But with Moyes, but I think with them players coming in, if he gets them players, his place might not even be safe. So then potentially there's a couple of positions there to be won.
I mean, the three players we've sort of mentioned there, like Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, and Maguire, but Ward-Prowse and Alvarez. You look at the attacking players we've already got with Benrahma, Bowen, Fornals. There's a good setup there. Paqueta, there's a good setup. Obviously, the striker issue's got to be sorted with Scamacca leaving, but
that must have. I'm going to touch on that a little bit as well, because that must have come out of the blue, because he played in near enough every pre-season game, and he wouldn't have done that if he was.
Scamacca?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I've never really thought he'd wanted to be here. I think he was sort of forced here last season. I think he's always wanted to stay in Italy. Look, when he played for us, I thought he done well, you know, but
He's a classy player.
if he don't want to be here, I think it's the right decision. Let him go and just get someone else in.
Well, this is the thing, because there's a lot of talk about Antonio not wanting to be here. Apparently, he's come out there. He's wanted to push for a move, which is another striker. So that we could be losing. So with Scamacca out and then Antonio out.
I said to him on the way here, right, I can see this happening. If Antonio does push, yeah, unless he's moved somewhere, and I haven't heard of it, but I think he might get in someone like Adama Traore and do what he done with Antonio. with him. There's a thing-
Well, he likes that sort of player, doesn't he?
Yeah, that
Big,
sort of
strong,
bulky
gets his
player.
head down,
Can run.
hasn't got an end product.
Yeah.
But the thing is about Torre, at least he's greasy, at least he's shiny.
No, but I think he could do something like that with someone like that. You know, especially with Antonio, it's just a younger version of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like that raw, and he has had some. You know, you got to give him that. He's had some success converting them wingers into forwards. You know, Antonio
And
Arnautovic. You know, he's got that. So yeah, look out for that one. That's a shout. Especially if Wolves are looking to move him on as well. I think that could be a shout.
Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, with young player of the season, it's kind of like default because Potts got put out on loan. Mubama's the guy that looks
Mubama's the one that looks like he's going to break through. He's had a lot of pre-season. He's done well in pre-season as well. He's really impressed me.
I like his movement.
I just like I like his movement and I like his determination. I like his desire as well. It's like he's happy to be on the pitch. He wants to prove.
Yeah, I think as a youngster you are though.
He seems to have a great head on his shoulders.
Yeah,
he seems like
and
a great lad.
I think he's going to be a great to have around. He's going to be good, especially in the European competitions and the cup competitions. But I want to see him break through in the Premier League as well. I want to see him get a chance. You know, it's tough for a kid to break in the Premier League. It is. It's really tough. But if he keeps going the way he's going, he will be getting a lot more Premier League football this season.
Player of the season. This is a big if he stays. Lucas Paqueta, I think, if he stays,
He's staying. He's definitely going to stay.
I mean, you
Famous
never.
last words,
yeah,
but-
you never know. You never know.
So the last 4 years, this has been an easy subject because we've all Rice, baby, and he's gone.
Yeah, but I think if he stays, he'll be our main man next season. I think he's just a brilliant footballer, and I can see him just pulling the strings, everything going through him.
I know it hasn't been a great summer, and the fans have been upset, and I understand that, of course. But I think it'd be a massive statement if West Ham did say, "We're keeping Paqueta. He's our main man."
Because he's got this £85 million clause next year, you know, and I think they've done a little bit, you know, with Rice. I think they've done a little bit like they put him as the main stage as our main boy and you know, our poster boy and all that sort of thing. When they knew he was going to move on,
Yeah,
you know, they knew he was going to move on. We all knew.
Yeah,
he
but
was going to move on.
that's what most of our fan base love all that, though, don't they? Because all I've been hearing in the last few weeks is about sell-on clause and sell-on. How can we make money from a player? So ain't people happy now because now we're going to be selling Paqueta and making money on him?
Well, the thing is,
don't bother me.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I don't get now because most people on Twitter, they're more worried about what we can get for a player in a few years' time, where we should be worrying about now. Like the way we like signing people like Maguire, who's 30, Ward-Prowse, who's 29. Yeah, they're at that sort of age, but don't worry about not making money on them. We finish higher in the league, we make money. We win cup competitions, we make money. That's how you make money out of them players. When people are saying, are worrying about sell-on clauses and what we're going to make, to me, that makes me think that all you're worried about is what we're going to sell them for. You're not building a team, you're worrying about what you're going to sell them for in the future.
Yeah, I think what you look at, how I interpret it is if you say look at a Maguire, right, and you go, okay, we've got him on a 4-year deal, that sort of player who's 30 years old. Not so much like we're not going to make a profit on him, but it's like, well, when we, you know, evolve past Maguire, when he sort of phases out, we're not going to be able to get rid of him. You're stuck with a player that's basically dead wood in your team.
Like United are now.
Yeah, but
Yeah, exactly.
If he comes here and he has, say he stays here 4 years before he retires or whatever, and he has 4 great seasons, now what does that matter?
No, don't. Yeah, if he has 4 great seasons, his contract's up, then you've got what you paid for out of him, you know. And
I think fans now treat the club's money like it's their own money. and it's not.
I don't understand it. Money don't bother me.
No.
It's not my money. You
If
know
we
what I
have
mean?
to, we're always going to overpay for players now. One, because of the Declan Rice money, and two, because that's just modern day football.
But you say it don't bother you, but then we've got FFP watch list we have to worry about. So when it comes to then affecting us in the transfer market, say we splash this on Maguire and that on McTominay and it don't work out. Next summer we've got these players that we can't move on, but at the same who haven't worked out. But then we can't go and sign other players because we're so restricted because of the money we've spent. Like we can't just spend
I think
money
we've
like
got a lot of
other clubs.
assets anyway.
I think when you look at sell-on and what you're thinking, that's when you look at, like, we made £105 million profit on a player that we didn't pay nothing for.
Yeah.
That's when you're looking at, like, Mubama. Who's saying in like 2 or 3 years' time that Mubama could be one of the top strikers in the country,
50 million
and he could be a 60, 70 million pound player? Like, you have to, I understand that you have to sign for now. Like, you can't think about managers, and David Moyes will not be thinking about 2 or 3 seasons' time. He will be thinking about this season, and he worries about what team he's got this season. And that's like, we as fans, we think differently. We worry about what's
Coming
2 or 3 years' time. But managers, that's how they
But
think.
Arteta, though, you look at Arteta, what he's done. He went out and built a young squad from the moment he come in. Young players. Look, I'm thinking.
But it doesn't always
about
work.
2-3
It
seasons.
doesn't always work out like that, because I think you've got to have the experience. Like, I don't want to talk about Arsenal, but obviously Declan's moved out, and yeah, I understand it's a young time, but building that young talent isn't always great because you've got to have someone there that's been experienced.
Yeah, there's
You know what I
balance. There's got to be. I think there's got to be balance to it, right?
And it also depends on where you are. Like, top clubs can do that. Like the Man Cities,
Yeah,
and I'll put Arsenal in there because they're a top club. They can do that. But teams like West Ham, we go into a season and our ambition, like, is, be honest, top 10. That'll be a good season for us. As much as we want to be top 6, that's hard.
No, I understand that. I do understand, and I understand that. Obviously, there's been a lot of backwards and forwards between the Arsenal fans and West Ham fans this year. But that's why, we can't keep a player like Declan Rice, and he will move to Arsenal because they have got that sort of pull and that sort of, that ambition. They have got something like that.
But if you're a well-run club and you plan properly, you're ready for that. Do you know
But
what I
we
mean?
have to look at a different way, around it. We have to pick up the players like Maguire, that's at a top club, that's a top player that ain't quite worked out, and we have to do that. We ain't listen. If Declan Rice played for Fulham, say, and we're going out to buy a player, we've got 105 million quid to spend, and you've got Man City, Arsenal. West Ham is not going to come into that conversation.
Right.
They're not going to come into that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think it's a bit lazy. Is to just go, oh, Maguire, well, he
you have
plays
to build
for Man
from
United, so he
somewhere.
must be good.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do know what you're saying, and I do agree with you. We have to pick up a model like what Brighton's got, like what fucking Brentford's got. You know what I mean? This model of, identifying these players. Like, let's look at Brighton. They're on the verge, right? They're a great football team, Brighton. They're a fantastic football team. They're on the verge of selling. They've just sold McAllister. They're on the verge of selling Caicedo. They've got Matoma, I think, Man City's
Their goalkeeper's just joined Arsenal.
goalkeeper's just turned Arsenal.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Brentford's goalkeeper, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, no, who did Brighton's goalkeeper go to? Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah. And you've got Matoma might be moving to Man City, and they won't stand in his way, yeah. But they've already got players that have come in and that are ready to replace them. Like, whether they're going to continue working, that's the thing with this place, and that's why this summer has been so frustrating for everyone. Is because they knew he was going. The whole fucking world knew he was going. Where he was going to, nobody knew. But he weren't going to be playing here next season. Yeah, and then all of a sudden you go out and you get this money, and then you're like, right, we'll start looking now.
Yeah.
But that's not fucking good enough. You know what I mean? They should have. I don't know whether Downsy was brought in last year as a sort of as a replacement, because you forget about him a little bit, didn't you? Like Flynn, but. I don't know where, and they just looked at him in training and they said, like, well, basically he's not going to fucking...
Yeah, but do you know what? I've looked at him in pre-season and he hasn't done that bad. He's not, I know Scott loves Downs and that, but he's not...
he's not going to pull up any trees.
Yeah, he's not... it's not the replacement for Declan Rice, is he? We know that. And that's why we brought in people like Alvarez, who is going to come in, and I think he can be a replacement for Declan Rice. So, it's...
Yeah, I think it's just a case of, it's a mixture. I can see buying for now and trying to focus on, obviously, we need to be good this season. But I think focusing solely on that can be dangerous. And you get that season after season, buy for now, buy for now. I don't think it's sustainable.
I think it's about mixing it up. I think if you sign 7 players during the transfer window, you sign sort of like 4 top players that are ready to go and then 3 that you look to the future. I do agree. I love seeing youngsters come in and build up around that. Like, I want to see, like we've been linked with that the boy from Barcelona. What's he, 20 years old?
Yeah.
You know, that they're the sort of players, but are they ready to come in now? You never know until they're given the chance.
Wait, did you all say your players of the season? I said Paqueta is my player of the season.
Oh, what? Amaria?
Oh, Amaria, yeah.
Amaria, player of the season, yeah.
Yeah, I said Paqueta as well. As long as he's here. If not, I'll go Bowen.
I'm going to say Bowen.
Bowen, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to say Bowen.
Yeah, all right, Jared Bowen. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to be looking at where we're going to finish, and I guess that ties into our overall feelings of dread or optimism ahead of the season. Obviously, cups, we're in a lot of cups again this season.
I think, and I'm not usually known for this, but I think...
Are we predicting where we're going to finish in the league?
Yes.
This is my favourite part, Nicky.
I'm going to be bold.
Right, I think we're going to have a better season than a lot of people predict.
13th.
No, I think I'm going to say 9th. I think 9th.
I think a good season for us is obviously we have to improve Premier League wise. You know, it was shit last season. We know that. But it got glossed over by us winning the European trophy. So if we could get back into the top 10 next season, I think that'd be good. I want to see another good European run. I don't think we'll win it. I don't think we will, but if we can get out in group stages, maybe a quarter-final, you never know. But yeah, league-wise, I agree. I think we'll finish around 10th, 9th. I think we'll finish top half, but I don't think we'll be good enough to break that top 6, 7.
Unless we go out and buy some mad centre forward, you know, someone. But you know what I'd like to see? Someone a bit unknown come in who just hits the ground running. You know, like someone that can just come
like a Sacco.
Yeah, that sort of, or like what that geezer was at Swansea.
Yeah,
the Spanish fella.
Michu.
Yeah, someone who comes in, no one knows about him. You get him for a couple of million quid, and he comes in and he whacks in 25 goals.
Well, this has been the big sticking point, isn't it? Is the signings that we want leaning towards British Premier League proven. So hopefully Steidtan is allowed to be given a little bit of free rein to do that. But before I give my finished prediction, what I want to ask you guys, based on your predictions, what did you say, like mid-table, no cups, does Moyes get a new contract off the back of that?
Nah.
It depends, doesn't it? It depends because if we have a good season Premier League wise, with a good cup run, it's and the players are happy. For me personally, I'd like to see someone new come in. You know, I think Moyes has earned the right to take us into this season. Depending how we start, I think Moyes last season, and I've said this before, the only reason he stuck around was because of Europe.
Yeah.
The only reason they kept him was because of Europe. I think any other manager comes in, I don't believe we win that trophy because I think they would have focused more on the Premier League. We was lucky to escape relegation, won a trophy. I think now they will break it down. They'll look at the first 10 games. If it ain't going well and we ain't picked up any points in the first 6 games, they'll get rid of him. But he's only got a year. He's only got a year left now.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper to sack him now. So and I think they've probably already got people lined up already.
Yeah, we've heard that, like, you know, there's a couple of managers possibly lined up. But I'll tell you what, right? I think, as I said before, I don't like his style of football. I don't like the way we've gone over the last year. But then there's a case for him if we go back to what we were 2 seasons ago. You know what I mean? Like if we go back to, like, you know, that rip-roaring football that we was playing, that counter-attacking football, it's all working and that. And then you think about it and you look at it in the you know, the grand scheme of things, 6th, 7th, European trophy, and then say we finish a semi-final, and then say we finish at like 6th or 7th again, like, and then got to sit there and start to think to yourself, like, you know, maybe he's worth another year.
If he gets us back into Europe in another season, he needs
to get the harmony back.
I think it's going to take a lot for him to win a lot of the fan base over, because there are a lot of the fan base out there that don't like him.
I don't like him.
His style of football.
No, not like him, but
I like the only thing I like about David Moyes is he gives us stability, and that's the only thing I would say. I wasn't great like the start of the football 2 seasons before that, like in COVID when we had Lingard. It was great to watch West Ham. Then the season after, it went towards the end of the season, it went down, but that was because of the Europa League. But I just think that if he can win the fans back over and we can have a good season, like enjoy coming over here again and.
I think if he gets us back into Europe again for a full season running, I can't argue against giving him a new deal because that's fantastic, right? With losing rights.
I'll be totally honest with you. I think he'll be gone by Christmas.
Listen, this is the thing. I that's kind of what I think is going to happen, and he could be gone sooner than that because the start that we've got is a very tough run, and
the Brighton is the one that does me.
Yeah,
Brighton.
I think we're going to end that.
I mean, if we just give him a new deal, if he wins that game,
mate, if we beat Brighton, give him a fucking 10-year contract, name a stand after him, name this orbit after him, the David Moyes orbit. No, but look, you look at the opening fixtures. We've got Bournemouth away, which is difficult. They've got a new manager, new players. Then we played Chelsea at home here, Pochettino, London derby, and then we go to Brighton. Which is always a difficult game, and I think we've got Man City after that
and
as
Liverpool.
Well. And Liverpool. So
at Anfield.
Them first 3 games, I'll be honest, is where we've got a target where we get our first points of the season.
We've got to go for it.
Yeah, and this is so. Yeah, I can fully see Moyes. I hope this comes back to bite me because if he stays, we've had a great season. But I think he won't see out the season. We'll get a new manager in. And I think we can have that bounce, I think we'll get to the quarterfinal. I think Moyes will at least get us out of the group stage because we're in the good pot, right?
Do you want me to tell you what I think is going to happen in Europe?
Go on.
I think we won't get out of the group stage, but we'll drop down back to the conference.
It depends on the draw, doesn't it?
Well, this is the thing. Because we're in the first pot, right? We're in the pot with all the good teams, the best teams.
I know what you mean.
We should get a more favourable group.
But
right?
when you look at what we done at Rennes the other day,
well,
and in Leverkusen, they tore us a piece.
But we will get some signings in, for these group games. So we'll be a little bit more complete. So I do think we'll at the least get out of the group stages, and then if we win the group, obviously we'll get a good draw because we'll get whoever was second in the next group. Yeah, I think at least get out of the group. But I'm gonna say, I'll agree with 9th, but I think that will be a new manager that will.
God, that's the first time we've all agreed on the same position.
To be fair though, even to the start of the season, if we beat Bournemouth first game of the season, that's an improvement on last year.
Yeah,
so we have more points than we did this time last year. But look, it's going to be the Premier League's difficult. There's a lot of good teams in there. It's going to be so hard to try to break that top 6, 7. You got to have a great season. A bit like Newcastle last year, they had a great season. And to be fair to Newcastle, they haven't gone out and signed superstars, have they? They've gone out and they've signed the right back from Southampton, the youngster. They've signed Harvey Barnes, who's done well in pre-season. So for them to say that they're going to break top 4 next year, it'd be difficult because they've got Champions League football to come. This is what I'm saying. Brighton had a great season last year. Villa had a great season. But now chucking Thursday, Sundays, it's going to be difficult. We know how difficult it is. We struggled last season.
But now we're the more experienced team with that. Yeah. So we should. I'm not saying like we've got a right to finish, but we should aim for that.
We need to aim for that again.
Moyes, when you look at Moyes' record in Europe, he sort of has it nailed down, doesn't he? He's done well in Europe. For us to get to a Europa League semi-final, let's be honest, we probably didn't think we was going to get out of the group in that competition. And then last year, I always thought, and I'm glad we record shows like this because I did say that last year. I always thought we are the best team in that competition.
Yeah, I did say that.
And I thought if we take it serious, we will win it, and we did. The only decent team we probably come up against was Fiorentina in the final. Alkmaar weren't that bad, but Fiorentina were probably the best team, and we beat them. And look, it wasn't a great performance, but how many finals do you watch and think that's a great game?
No,
most finals are shit.
Yep, finals are won, not played, as they say. So it's going to be. So we're all predicting that Moyes won't be the manager by the end of the season.
I don't think so.
Nah.
Yeah.
Especially as the more the months go on, his contract runs down. It's easier to sack him.
Well, imagine he wins the Europa League, coming back and watching this. Like,
Right, in the Champions League. Really, Champions League.
But do you know what, mate? I'll take it. I'll take all the banter all day long. So I
Yeah.
hope he does, because it'll be another trophy for me. Not for me personally, but like for
us.
West Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, another parade, another happy European season. But I just want the league. I just want to be coming over here. I'm not saying, look, we're never going to win the Premier League. We're never going to. But as long as we can come over here and just like enjoy the football, go away,
yeah.
pick up the odd result, you know, and just improve on last season. That's all we want.
We'll see.
Fair play. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's season prediction. We'll be back, obviously, building up towards the Bournemouth game on Saturday. We've got a what do you call it?
Preview. Big match preview.
Big match preview. I forgot all about it then. Big match preview. We've got fan cams from Bournemouth, post-match reaction, all of that sort of stuff, more than after the game before. And then the content comes back to normal next week. We've got all the shows coming back. So, yeah, keep it locked here. Subscribe if you're new. Buy our T-shirts. We've got new T-shirts on the store. So I've got one on right now. And, yeah, one thing left to say.
Come on,
Come on,
you
you
Lions.
Come on, you Lions.